Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is just a little gem that I took out of a random AI channel, so I'm not going to give them credit whatsoever. But this is going to be a little tiny angry man who's so mad at his public defender because they can't just get him out of all of his charges, which I find comical. So he's so mad at them, calls them all corrupt, and wants to represent himself. And in this 7-minute clip, he has no idea what he's doing.
All right, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Shane Leroy Raymer. File number 23-21665FH. This is the date and time set for a final pretrial conference. Today was the motion deadline for both motions and motion in limines to be heard. Jury instructions were to be provided to the court by April 2nd, along with any proposed voir dire questions. We are set for trial on April 22nd of 2025. Mr. Raymer, you are charged with police officer resisting and obstructing causing injury, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 4 years in prison. Police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing, that carries up to 2 years in prison. There's 2 of those, and then there's a disorderly. And what is the plea offer in this file?
Your Honor, the people have offered to a plea of 2 counts to attempted R&O.
All right.
So 2 misdemeanors, and we would kill a brute, no upfront jail.
All right. Mr. Raymer, the plea offer in this case was to plead to 2 one-year misdemeanors with no upfront jail, and there'd be like 12 months or so of probation, some minimal fines and costs. Do you understand that? All right. Now, Mr. Raymer, I'm assuming you graduated from high school, right?
8th grade.
You went through 8th grade, and this is a felony that could result in you going to prison. Why don't you stand in front of that podium for me? So do you understand an attorney can help guide you through the legal process?
Yes, I tried to have, I almost had a public defender. Unfortunately, she wasn't representing me appropriately. I'd asked for another one, but.
So I have no authority over who gets appointed. You are appointed an attorney.
I understand that, but when they're not representing you appropriately.
Okay, I didn't ask that. I'm just saying you have a right to an attorney. I know the attorney you're referring to. She's diligent. She works hard. Maybe you didn't like, I know when I was a public defender, sometimes my clients didn't like what listen to me, I'm talking. My clients didn't like the things that I told them, but her job isn't to do what you want. Her job is to represent the law. So you understand at this point, you can hire an attorney, or you can go with the public defender and whoever they assign you, or you can go to trial pro per with no law degree, no experience, and risk going to prison. You're going to represent yourself.
I'm a representative. I ain't got no choice but to represent.
Have you added your jury questions, the voir dire questions? Because if you haven't, they're waived.
If there's
They were due.
If there's evidence provided against me, I have a right to defend myself using that very same.
That wasn't the question I asked you.
You
do have a right to defend yourself, Mr. Raymer. I'm just.
My right for violence.
I'm talking. You're not. If you don't stop talking and listen to me, so I can go through my speech, I will send you over to the jail. Do you understand?
So these are my favorite situations. Not the random little guy yelling at the judge, who gives me Wanda Mize vibes, which is strange. But no, the guy who's already in jail waiting to talk to the judge, just sitting there going, and then looking over at the jail staff, and they're like, the fuck is this guy doing?
All right. You have not filed any motions. Jury instructions were due and voir dire questions were due. You have not provided those. We gave you a copy of this. So do you understand what I've received is what will be used? Yes or no?
I will be allowed to ask my question.
What question?
When I'm cross-examining, I will get my.
I'm talking about juror question. I'm talking about jury instructions and voir dire questions. You understand now? You didn't file. Listen, I know, but you waived that because you have not provided them. Do you understand that? You understand that?
No, I don't. I don't
Okay.
understand that. I didn't understand that.
Okay. Well, I can't advise you of the law because I'm not an attorney. I'm a judge.
No, but you're
So
looking at the case, and you've been presiding over my case for 3 years now.
I know. It's fine. You're going to go to
You're the one
trial.
that signed the warrant for my arrest while I was in jail.
I don't know that. I don't remember.
Yes, you did do that.
Okay. I'm allowed to do that.
No, you violated my rights.
Okay. Well, you have options. You can file a complaint with the JTC if you'd like. So are you prepared to go to trial?
Absolutely.
Have you provided your witness list?
I haven't yet, but I will.
Okay, that was due.
My witness list was provided when Ms. Underwood was my attorney,
Okay.
and my witness list is,
Have you subpoenaed any witnesses that were not on the prosecutor's raised just eyewitness list?
yes, my witnesses are the ones that was there at the scene.
No.
And, yeah,
Do you understand that you have to provide a witness list and you have to provide a copy to the prosecutor? Do you understand that?
prosecutor, I gotta provide what to him?
So if you're gonna have witnesses at trial, you need to make sure the prosecutor has their name and contact information so that they could interview them prior to trial if they wanted. Do you understand that?
Well, they got all that information.
They do?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
my witnesses are my parents and my aunt.
okay, I don't know, are those on, if they're not on the people's witness, okay.
Road.
If you haven't provided a witness list and they're not on the people's list, you understand you won't be able to call them.
Okay, I will provide information. I
Okay.
will provide that information. Yeah.
I'm just telling you. So you need to make sure that there's a witness list in the file that was provided to the people.
So I gotta re-provide it.
I don't know. Go back and look at what witness list has been filed,
filed.
their name, their contact information, and then any subpoenas you have to do. If you have to subpoena anybody to be present, you need to get those filed this week. And then the court signs them, and then you serve those people with those. You understand? Now, do you understand when we go to trial, a lot of times some of the questions you ask or he asks may be objected to, and it's not personal, it's just, we have to follow the law.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm allowed to object too, though, right?
huh?
I'm allowed to object too.
You are, and then you have to provide the basis for that objection. Okay, so you need to understand your objections. So you might want to do some research to understand.
I've been doing.
Good, good. You sure you don't want a public defender for a trial?
Huh?
You sure you don't want an attorney for a trial?
I'm not gonna take any of the attorneys from here because they're all corrupt.
And that's all we have of that guy. He seems pretty upset. He's mad at the judge for signing a warrant for him for a different thing while he was in jail. It seems like the best place to serve a warrant because they already know where you're at. But I think he's going to run into this problem. Most sovereign citizens do. Most people who represent themselves do because they watch too much Law and Order, I guess. I'm allowed to object too. Yeah, if there's a legal basis for the objection. But for some reason, all these people who represent themselves just throw out objection over things they don't like. Yeah, it's factually true, but they just don't want anybody to say it. I think he's probably going to have a problem with that. But yeah, that was the video. I just thought that was kind of a more funny, comical little back and forth, especially with the guy at the bottom losing his shit halfway through the video. It's probably like the Judge Simpson situation where he didn't want to go next because the guy worked the judge up. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. Peace.